Some big fights coming up. Invicta, the champ, Tonya Avenger defends her title. UFC 205. Man, there's a lot of stuff happening. I'm here with the star of the show, Miss Tonya Avenger. Tonya, how are you?
I'm good. Cutting weight, getting ready for this fight. Sore.
Yeah. I understand that you're, keeping yourself in really good shape on, out of training. And that makes a big difference when it comes to weight cut time, eh?
Yeah, it does. I don't get that privilege of being in shape all the time. I got to work, but, I cut a lot of weight, and I get on a diet, and I get on a good workout schedule and stuff, and make it happen every time.
You do. And I can attest to that. And but listen, Tonya, it does. You have really progressed from someone that's looking from the outside in. Your muscle mass, you're leaner. The weight seems to be easier when you're making that weight on the scale. Now I know nothing's easy cutting weight, but you definitely look healthier than some of the other times I've seen you in there cutting weight.
Oh, definitely. I think we've seen it a lot, even this last year. I mean, I've seen cards where some of the Invicta girls, like half the card is off weight, and it's nuts. But then again, if people don't understand certain issues, like I went in, we had weight cuts where they moved the scale, and once they moved the scale, we're off weight. Everybody's off weight. I mean, you can't really. It's a crazy situation, and I think most fighters have dealt with it at one time, and if they haven't, lucky them, they will deal with it. But it's a definite situation where you want to come in and everyone wants to get lower. And Invictus, they got these new rules where it doesn't matter who you are, you miss weight, they'll cut you. I mean, it's a real situation now.
I mean, there's so much on the line for not just the fighter, but the promotion as well. I mean, the fans too. There was one time as a fan I was watching and UFC, the main event, I won't even say who it was because I don't remember, but one of the fighters dropped out. But yet their promos for that event, they still used the two fighters. It was Cain Velasquez when the first Mexico fight against Verdum, and he couldn't make the fight.
They did it a couple times, and people complained, and I think that's BS, man. You shouldn't do that. Like, people buy tickets, and didn't some people sue them or try to sue them?
Yeah, they did.
Like, that's millions of dollars coming in. And I'm not saying that people wouldn't still buy the show, because man, they make so much money off that pay-per-view.
Oh.
But at the end of the day, man, I'm not going to sit there and have a big-ass party at my house. I don't know who would. If my main fighter that I'm having the party for, the only reason I'm watching the damn thing at my house and renting it instead of going to the bar is because of that fighter. I mean, jeez, I'd be mad as hell, too.
Well, that's exactly it, because it's the main event. So that's what you're selling the card on, is the main event. Now, speaking of UFC, the incredible, talented, lovely, beautiful, yet deadly Ronda Rousey is making her return after that vicious head kick knockout to Ali Young.
Instant title shot.
Yes. And not just. Well, let me ask you.
It's crazy. It is so crazy. I think that. I've seen so many posts about Aldo, and they said if Aldo had blonde hair and blue eyes and tan or like white skin, or I don't know what they said about her, just complete description of Ronda, that he would have got an instant rematch, and
yep.
It's crazy. But then you look at the other side of it, and they're trying to sell, and I understand both sides of it, but
it's
I don't know,
business.
Man. It's such a disrespectful kind of way of going about it, and fighters are bitching about it, and people are starting to stand up and say something against UFC, and it's crazy to finally see that happening. It's good, I think, but I think that it's weird to watch. I put a post up on Facebook where Juliana Pena's crying about it and gonna quit UFC. Man, I've been doing this for 10 years. 12 years, and I've been watching this go on this whole time, and this is what I'm talking about. I've been saying this the whole time, and she passed me up. All them girls passed me up. Like, you see it all day long. It happens all day long, and just because it happens to you, nobody understands it till it happens to them.
But Pena, though, she's a babe in the sport, so to speak. it's kind of rough to be criticizing, I think. But here's the thing for me. Now, Ronda's been off for it's over a year, and her fight where she lost at home, she was exposed that she just doesn't have any boxing skill, any boxing 101, unless you stand still.
Or a jaw, I think, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
the jaw.
Her best bet is to close that distance as fast as possible.
Well,
I think it's in her head now. I think that she's going to be worried about getting hit.
Well, of course, I mean, that happens to everybody, especially with someone like Ronda, because for me, I watched that fight and I seen her mentally lose before she was ever knocked out.
Yeah.
She couldn't catch her. She gasped.
Yeah, she was knocked out on her feet, I think, for
a
minute. Like, I mean, she was just reacting, and that's, just natural instinct for her being a natural athlete. And in judo that long, you just react.
She was in a position, though, she had never been in before, on the biggest stage the UFC had ever had to that point.
Mm-hmm. And the worst weight cut. I mean, that was the worst I ever seen her.
Well,
she looked like she really struggled. I mean, she was sucked up. You seen her come in real healthy sometimes and real lean, and this time she looked real sucked up. So
I
think there's a big difference.
I'll tell you what, Tonya, I changed my opinion on the fight at the weigh-ins because Ronda came in so emotional. She had that crack in her voice, like on the verge of crying when you're a kid and you're really frustrated. And no disrespect to Ronda, I just don't know.
She pushed her hand and it looked like she punched her and stuff.
Yeah, out of character.
It's getting to her brain, but everybody goes through that. Everybody's going through that. That's the thing. Can you handle it? Are you going to be able to go in there? Are you going to be able to fight? Are you going to be able to do what you need to do? And that takes years. That takes years and cage experience. And that's where I feel like I have advantage over a lot of my opponents. I have them years in. And I know I feel the same way or they feel the same way as me. And it's just how you can overcome it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you do have a fight coming up. You are defending your title.
About time.
It is. It is about time. And tell me a little bit, and I know you're not going to give away any game plan. Listen, your game plan for me, I could tell you every time what Tonya's going to try to do. And, it's can you stop her? But
I think people think that they know what I'm going to do, but every time you see me fight, I think I'm a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
You obviously know if I can take you down, I'm going to beat you up on the ground. But if I take you down and you give me a little bit of a struggle, then all right, we fight on our feet. I don't have a problem fighting on my feet. I just make my takedown a little bit easier. I'm not going to make something harder than it is. I'm going to go least resistance possible, you know what I mean? And if that means striking a little bit to set up them takedowns, or if that means striking to win the fights. I mean, I've had fights where me and Sarah DeLeo were on our feet most of the time, so I've had fights where I'm up and fights where I'm down. It just kind of depends on what's the easier route for me, and I want to be able to take it as far. I want to be able to finish somebody. That's what I'm looking for.
Yep. Well, you're extremely physically strong at 135. I mean, you're physically strong at 145. But going against this opponent here, is there one thing that you're concerned about or that you're training to deal with? Takedown defense or anything in particular?
Yeah, I think that that's one thing I don't do. I don't train for particular opponents. I train to win fights. I train to be offensive. I'm not in there to trade. I'm not in a boxing match to get hit. I'm there to beat somebody up and finish somebody. So I work on making my skills better. Obviously I do look at tape and I know what they're going to do or kind of have an idea. But again, they're changing their game plan to fight me. So sometimes that ain't the best way to go about a fight. And, that's also like lessons learned. Lessons learned.
My mindset always was what I was going to do to them. I wasn't concerned about what they were going to do to me. I was going to impose my will. And
there to win a fight. Yeah.
Exactly. And you've got to be able to fight at every position regardless, because it is a fight. You just don't know. So, but this is a big fight, Tonya, because at this point in your career, you are at this level of being able to command not only Invicta at 135, possibly 125 as well, and then we're also looking at the UFC. And the only opponent in my mind that I would love to see you fight is, and I've said it before, it's Chris Cyborg at 140. I think that's a money fight. Obviously, you've got one you're getting ready for. You're not, looking past, nor is this a fight that's on the table yet. But, I mean, this is a point in your career.
There's so many options. There's so many options out there, and it's really true. But obviously, it's just like people say, hey, just go and tell Dana White, you can just go and get in the UFC if you're so good. Well, you can't, man, you don't just do that. I can't demand fights and they give them to me. I have to wait just like everybody else. They tell me who I fight.
Yep.
And then you turn it down or you say yes. Obviously, I say yes to everybody. Every time Shannon calls me, I have a girl for you to fight. Obviously it's always the foreign girl or something, so she can't always pronounce her name very well. She's like, I'll get the full name for you, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'll take the fight. I think that I'm certain amount, I'm ranked at a certain level, and I need to suck it up and fight everybody that's in my path to get there. So I should be better than everyone else, and I think that that's one thing that Invicta brings is the talent from these girls, man. They're picking up some major girls and some great talent, and people just aren't respecting them yet. And they got a roster full of girls that never fought yet for Invicta, and they've been signed and
that's shocking.
Because
the talent,
amazing. All their shows, they put girls on show, a whole show of girls that you never heard of, and people will doubt them. And I'm not watching Invicta. There's nobody I want to watch. Well, that's what. I mean, what do you think's gonna happen to me after so many years? I'm gonna be gone. What do you think's gonna happen to all these other champions? Eventually, somebody's got our number.
That's right. And
eventually, we're gonna get beat.
The next champ is training somewhere, or in the gym.
You're watching her fight. You're watching her. You see it with the 115-pound weight class. Look at that belt, running around, switching hands and stuff. Shannon's probably never bought so many belts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
It's a funny situation. But,
it is.
You're gonna see a lot of champions.
Well, and really, when it comes down to it, the talent level in MMA, women's MMA, men's MMA, especially women's MMA, has come up so fast out of nowhere. You're now seeing the talent level higher than it's ever been, better athletes, and really extremely well-rounded fighters. And you spoke to it. You might not have heard of them, but when you watch the fights, it's entertaining always and extremely impressive.
Yeah, I had somebody on Twitter, I think, criticizing Invicta, how the fights just aren't very good, and the women's level of MMA isn't where men's is at, and all this kind of stuff, and they are fucking nuts. Obviously, it was a dude that said it.
Yeah.
They are fucking nuts, man. The women, if you're going to compare talent and compare a fight to a fight, the women are the IQ of their fighting style, it's just right up there with the men's. You're not going to tell me that these girls aren't fighting
I think more than that.
High level fights, and they aren't hitting high level combos and high level grappling techniques and stuff. They are just on the same level. You're just comparing a straight dude to a girl is what you're comparing, and that's impossible.
It is
impossible. A mediocre dude will beat me. A mediocre dude, just because I'm a girl, not because he knows more than me or anything. It's because I'm a girl, and it's what it is. But if you're talking about a high level dude against comparing with a high level girl, we're at the same level. We're at the same level, same talent wise, same knowledge, IQ level is the same when it comes to fight game, and it just
For me, Tonya, the women, they every single fight, they show up and they fight like they've got something to prove, as though, and they do. They're still, listen, women's MMA at this, brought onto this stage is still young. It's only been out for, a matter of years. So
I've been fighting for 12, though. Don't forget that.
No, Tonya, listen, and that's the crime right there.
You're right, though. I'm fighting girls that have been fighting 3-4 years. I'm fighting them girls.
The crime, though, is that you've been fighting it, and now it's at the stage where the regular fan is able to watch because, listen, a professional fighter is a professional fighter. You get in there, Tonya, your skill, I got to be honest, there are some guys that if I had to pick between watching the regular top 10 WMMA fight versus a regular top 10 MMA fight. If the guy's in there that I like and it's a big, heavy dude, we're looking at the knockout. Everybody loves the finish. But
Right.
the most entertaining fights that I've watched, almost without question, have been the women. And it's because they go in there and they give it all they've got every single time.
Yeah. It's a scrap.
Well, yeah. And like I
And
said,
man, they get bloody too. I see a lot more blood.
they do bleed.
The men's MMA now. Yeah, I love it. I really do love it. And then these girls fight through it, man. You see people break.
Yep.
As soon as they start bleeding, as soon as they see their own blood, they break. And man, these girls, it's nuts.
No.
It's nuts. They bleed out.
Hey, have you ever been in a position where you were caught bad and it affected you seeing your own blood?
I've never been cut. Girl better learn how to hit harder than that.
Really? Now, you've never had the inside of the mouth cut where you just swallowing the blood?
I've gotten that just wrestling and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of stuff happens, but that's not anything that's every day in practice, you know?
Exactly.
I get that eating a potato chip, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know how it would affect me, but you know, I grew up like fighting and stuff, and I seen a lot of my own blood, and all it did was make me mad. I think that I'm the type of fighter when I get hit, I retaliate. I don't like it.
Yep.
It pisses me off, and I think that if somebody did cut me, I think it just pissed me off. So, you know, I don't know.
I mean, to me,
I'm not trying to get hit out there. Who's trying to get hit?
Listen, obviously, that's not what you want to do. But if the blood's not going in your eye, it was irrelevant to me. It didn't make a bit of difference. I didn't even think about it. Use it to your advantage.
Let's go ahead and continue this fight and open that baby up. If I'm going to get these stitches, let's open it up.
A bit of grind on it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, that's the Tonya that I love. I have to say, there was one point at a fight, and I was there, and I was pretty close to the cage, and you had the mount. And I seen this look on your face that was, I had never really seen that before, and it was a look of intense competition, but pleasure, dare I say, as you just took the will from this, this woman, I don't want to say her name, you just took the will from her, and you could see it. You could see it. Is that something that is like irreplaceable, that feeling?
You know, it's a weird feeling, and I've actually trained fighters, and I trained this girl one time, and she used to train at my gym, and I had her fight her first MMA fight as an amateur. She told me, I felt really bad, I didn't want to hit her, and then she hit me, and I just felt bad hitting her. Man, don't you ever feel bad. Don't you ever feel bad. I don't feel bad. What makes me feel bad is the time after I lose, and I'm watching them celebrate, and I'm watching them hug each other, and then, they're raising her hand, and then they're going home, and then I have to listen to Twitter and everybody online talking crap to me and congratulating her. That's what really hurts my feelings. Disappointment in myself, not letting somebody actually beat me. That's what hurts my feelings, not punching them in the face. They came here to get punched. Obviously, they got in the cage with me. So,
Well, let me ask you then, is that one of the big motivators for you? As you said, you've been in this game 10, 12 years. That's a lot of miles on the body. That's a lot of fights. You've been traveling. I would hate to have a mileage meter clamped onto your ass to know how far you've traveled in these 10 or 12 years. I think it would be scary, personally.
The gypsy ass over here.
Man, I'm telling you. But is there one thing that motivates you more than something else for each fight, or is every fight different?
I don't know. I always ask myself that, like, when am I going to stop doing this? But, it's crazy. I get jobs, and I'm sure that a lot of people feel this way, people that are athletes. And I get jobs, and I get in a great position, and I'm making money, and then something comes up, and I'm going to fight, and that changes my life, changes reality.
Every fight obviously is different, and your preparation for every fight might be a little bit different. Fighting southpaw, not. And your motivation obviously for each fight is a little bit different too. And you said you had been asking yourself, is there one thing you're fighting for? I would say you're at the point of legacy now. Does that go through your mind?
I want that 125-pound title. I want to do something. I want to do something to make my mark. You know, I think that the MMA scene's getting full of talent,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna get lost in it. I mean, you got to stand out.
Yep.
These girls that's coming up today, they're talented, and they got to stand out, and they got to find ways. And you're seeing it, like the girls using their sexy side. Some of them are using, I don't know, I guess their
Yep.
sexuality.
That is a fact.
Whatever way you got to do it. You know, I mean, no disrespect to anybody. You use what you got to use. You use the tools you got in your tool bag. So.
Well, there was a lot of haters with Felice Herrig because of the way Felice was coming out there for a while, and she did
but
a lot.
Look at her. She fought in the UFC. She probably makes more money than a majority of these girls out there.
Yep.
Still probably makes more money.
Yep. Well, I was just going to say, do you think it's just haters? Because
I don't know.
it offends some people. Because, listen, it's a fight, and they take it serious. And for some people, that takes away from the integrity of the sport when you're kind of putting yourself out that way for attention.
I mean, what if you were, I guess you can kind of say, I mean, put yourself in my shoes where I'm the complete opposite. And I watch these girls run by me and run by me and run by me and get more attention. And I put all these years in, I put all this time and
Yep.
stuff in. I mean, is it haters or is it people that are jealous?
That's true.
You know?
Well, look at Conor McGregor and that whole style and that way of approaching and coming, you know, to the game and bringing attention to the sport to sell tickets. At the end of the day, you've got to sell tickets, and you know
about the butts in the seat, the pay-per-views.
That's it.
That's what it's about. If people aren't showing up to watch, there ain't no money to give you.
That's right. So I mean, I can't hate against anybody, regardless of how they're approaching. If they want to put out the sexy pics and it works, that's fantastic. If they want to talk like McGregor, fantastic, as long as it's genuine. When you're faking it, you're faking it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah. You
Nope.
can tell though. They usually come out. They're frauds and they get figured out. It's
They
whatever.
do. They get exposed quickly.
Yeah.
So I've got to go to your fight, Tonya. Perfect world, first round, bam. It's all over.
Out.
Cold. Curled up toes, eyes wide open, talking to God. And then you shut a bunch of people up, showing the power and the striking. By the way, I have seen some tape on your striking, and it looks like you've been doing a lot of work on your striking to me.
You know what? I think that at the beginning of my career, I had like 7 or 8 like full-blown straight-up knockouts.
Yep.
And I think when I came out of the beginning, I was a wrestler and I threw haymakers. And I think over the years, I learned a lot of technique and I advanced my game and I'm not striking the same. I think I'm striking smarter, but still effective.
Well, you're incorporating your striking to lead into your game of ground game, wrestling.
Yeah.
That's a sign of a pro, man. That is a sign of somebody that's been in the
Smarter.
game.
You gotta fight smarter.
That's right.
Hey, I usually come out untouched in the face. My legs might be messed up from getting kicked. My foot hurts from kicking them. You know, sometimes my hands hurt from hitting them, but, you know, try to keep this face pretty for the ladies.
That's right. And then, you know what, Tonya?
I'm just kidding.
You have hey, I agree with that. I think it's amazing that you have such a perfect, pretty nose, and you don't have giant cauliflower ears, and you are fresh because you look fresh. So, you know, that not only does it show your dominance, but it shows defense. And for those people that think, well, it's the girls, so they don't take the damage. Not true.
Some of these girls have some power. I mean, you see down the 115-pound weight class, man. I see girls getting knocked down, knocked out.
It's a great thing for me as a fan.
Yeah,
I love
it.
the threat to know that this girl can turn this girl's lights out, separate her from consciousness like that. You know, any second. It's a
No,
fight.
yeah.
It's never over till the bell rings. You know?
For sure.
So,
For sure.
best case scenario, you walk through this fight, bam, she's out, she's cold. Are we really looking at a Tonya Evinger campaign for 125?
Hell yeah, I've been campaigning that for a long time.
But
Obviously.
I'm saying, are you ready to, if best case scenario, stand up and literally drop down to the weight and be ready to go and petition?
Hey man, I'll tell you this: if they put me on a card to take that belt, I guarantee I can defend both belts, and I'll be able to stay in shape because I'll be fighting twice as much. Hopefully, fighting twice as much. I think there's 5 or 6 fights down there. Girls fight me. I think that there'll be a situation of a year or two, blowing out as many as I can, and
I think so. And listen,
who knows from there? Who knows?
You have some great fights in the division there waiting still for you. 135 and 125. There's some really good fights, entertaining fights the fans would love to see. And again, I think it's time to take care of the franchise player. And for Invicta, that is Tonya Evinger. And you know how I feel about you, Tonya. I respect the hell out of you. You are the real deal. There's no fake to Tonya. You are you, and that's why I love you, Tonya. And besides, you have to love this face. At least for right now.
For sure. I like the mustache.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, the '70s were good. They're coming back.
The only reason I like you was the mustache.
See that? I'm keeping it too. So this is my thing. Before we go out, any predictions? Rousey going in there fighting against the title against the champ?
Oh man, this is a toss up in the air for me. I think that Rousey's head's messed up, and I think that Liz has the power and the good enough striking to outstrike her.
Yep.
It's just how Ronda goes in. I think it's all about Ronda. It's all whether she's got her head together or not. Obviously, if I was her, I'd go in and I wouldn't strike with her. I would take her down or put her against the cage as soon as possible and take her down, and I would dominate her a little bit and start breaking her down. You got to break her will, and then them takedowns come easier. I mean,
it's a fact. But
God,
listen,
it's really up to her.
Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a fighter that is like Rousey, a judoka, she comes in, armbar, 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 armbar. All of a sudden, she gets a knockout. And that can be the worst thing to ever happen because now she feels that power. She thinks she's a boxer. She wants to do it again.
That's what happened.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Amen.
Went to your head. I don't care how good a wrestler you think you are. I have a lot of girls that fight me that they're wrestlers and they've done this and they've done that. I don't care how good a wrestler you think you are. You can't put in the amount of training that I've put in over that many years in your short years of wrestling. It's just impossible.
It is, and mental too. You're mentally not breakable. And listen, striking, it's part of the game, but you don't abandon what got you to the show. And obviously for Rousey, it was not her boxing.
Right.
And that's what happened to her.
That's what we were talking about. You make your skills better.
That's right. Set it up.
Water your own grass, man.
That's right. Set it up. So what's the date for the fight, Invicta?
November 18th. They say this is the last of the year.
So
last one of the year. I hope they have another one. It'd be nice to be in Vegas when UFC 207. Is that right? When Ronda's
Yep.
It'd be nice to piggyback that show and have an Invicta show maybe that Friday before.
It should always be that way. I think.
Well, I mean, I don't think we do. I don't know.
I'm a fan, so I speak that way, and the more the better. And I think Invicta.
We can't get the fans to come to our shows, though. I mean, it's not the same.
You know what?
The shows are expensive in Vegas. We don't get no hookups.
Oh, that is a good point.
White and them got. I mean, UFC's got hookups. Why can't they pull any strings for us, man? I mean, we don't get them kind of hookups. It's too expensive.
I never understood that either, but you're right. And this is in Kansas City, which is 35 minutes, little quick flight for me. I love it. I love it, so it's easy for me. But I'm looking forward to it, Tonya. I want to see you get in there and compete. I want to see a good fight. I want to see you tested. I want to see you tested, and obviously I think you're going to win. I'm partial, but even if I wasn't partial, if I just look at tape, I see Tonya coming out, but it's going to be a good fight, and you know, hey, a little, maybe even a little short term, you know, a little short notice on it too. So.
Hey, I'm down to get down anytime.
You are.
I just got to get in shape.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
as long as I'm in shape, I win fights.
That's why I'm, you know, going to be leaving in a couple of hours to jog to you. It'll take me, I don't know, I'll be there in probably a week or so. And, you know, I'll get you back in shape like we used to be when we ran the hills.
Right. Oof.
What the hell am I talking about? Okay.
Who needs that?
That's right.
I can find so much better ways to get in shape.
That is a weapon. I mean, the worst feeling in the world is to be in the cage and not able to defend yourself because you're so gassed.
Somebody's whooping your ass.
Oh.
It's the worst. People will never understand it. Just fight back, man.
You can't.
You ain't never been that tired. There's nothing. You will never be that tired. I don't care if you ran as hard as you could for 10 minutes. You will never be that tired. That's nuts.
You cannot recreate that because of that adrenaline dump, and just you're exactly right. And it's the most helpless feeling I've ever felt, is being in there and having someone full of energy when I have none, and I can't even keep my hands up to cover my face. Very, very bad situation to be in. But
I've lost fights every time I was out of shape. I tell you that.
Yeah.
I have 5 losses for a reason. So you know, sometimes they're worth taking. Now I look at the reasons I would take that fight: opportunity, money. You know, you know, you got to look at. There's got to be a reason you take that fight, and you know.
No.
Obviously, everything's worked out. I'm in the right spot. I'm right where I need to be.
As the champ, 135-pound champ, there's a lot of you know, companies in this business, in this game, that want to be able to have their brand associated with the champ, Tonya Evinger. Is there anything or any particular way that these companies should go about to reach out to you for any possible sponsorship opportunities?
Yeah, definitely. My social media, just my name, Tonya Evinger. I don't hide anywhere, so
that's true.
Definitely hit me up. I need some sponsors for this fight, so do it.
Well, good. I wanted to touch that because I want to get in on that too.
Getting close, huh? It's getting close.
It is. Well, hey, Tonya, I think we got a winner, man, and I am excited because now it's once a week. You'll be able to see Totally Tonya once a week, and I'm excited, guys. It's going to be on Fight TV, the Fight TV mobile app, so you can carry it around in your phone. You can watch it on your tablet, or you can turn your TV on, go through your Roku device, Fight TV Plus, flick it on, and check out the show. It's going to be nothing but fun from here on out. I got a couple surprises coming up on a show or two for Tonya as well that she doesn't know about. So, hey, any shout-outs before we go, Tonya?
No, you know, I just everybody. I want to get everybody out to that show in Invicta. I think that this is an opportunity to really put Invicta on the map and to make some new fans and to show their support, man. If you're anywhere near Kansas City, or if you're thinking about going to Kansas City, you know, get in on that show, November 18th.
There it is, November 18th, man, Kansas City. And listen, guys, they deliver every time. I guarantee you that. If you've never been, you need to go, especially to watch Tonya defend her title. You know,
some of them girls have amazing outfits too, so that's also a thing you don't want to miss.
That's true, and I can attest to that as well. So
I always have to go back and watch them afterwards.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to enjoy when you're in there in the in the blood and mud and
I just seen him come back bleeding and did it up, and I'm like, dang, you got blood on that cute outfit.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe you will in the future have a promotion and you can mandate, like Reebok, and make your own outfits.
Right?
Right?
Nah.
Nah, I don't think so.
Someday.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the fight, Tonya, and I'm looking forward to getting this show out. I'm excited. I have gotten this fixed. It was a terrible problem I had to deal with, guys. I apologize. I really do, especially to Tonya. But you're going to get used to this show. Believe me, you will get used to it. So, for Fight TV, for Modern Pugilist Entertainment, Tonya Evinger, I'm Dan Cox. She's the champ. We'll see you next time.